This is Rashad, and you're watching Baltimore Basics. Producers and people in the music industry, and he was like, "Yeah, what up, dummy?" Right? And the guys like, "You know who I am?" Like, did he just call me dummy? And they had to tell him like, "No, that's a word of endearment. Like, he's showing you love. That's just Baltimore." And so he started rapping, and they like, "Where's he from?" It was like St. Louis. They like, "No." They was like, whatever this accent is, it's gonna take off. We gotta sign him. And they was really about to have him sign these piece of papers, and unfortunately he got killed. But they were like, what stuck it out, what kept Baltimore on the map was you can't go anywhere else and find this grittiness. You can't find this unique accent and tongue and slur and things anywhere else. Like, you can go to St. Louis and find 20 different chingies or Nellies. Like, but to get that, you can't replicate that and have a kid from Harlem trying to make music that sound like Baltimore. You're just not gonna have it. So that kept us in the market to be valuable. And it talked about like we missed a huge opportunity when we lost Lil Scooter. But that's the uniqueness that we gotta embrace and see it as an asset rather than a detriment or another loss. Period. I support Baltimore businesses. I support Baltimore platforms when I'm travel. The fashion speaks for itself, right? The art speaks for itself. I got tons of friends that's in the art world and they're world renowned. I think Baltimore itself got to learn to appreciate its own heroes and validate us while we're actually living in the current moment, rather than having to go outside of our city to get validation to come back and be appreciated. If we start to appreciate our people while we're here, we can be much further in life and further as a city. But I'm optimistic about it because you got another new generations of young people that see through it, and we able to openly communicate now with different platforms like this. So the Love's Art Project is exactly what it says. The love for art, right? And the fact that it's a project, right? It's an experiment. But the fact that if we taking control of an experiment on ourselves and we take control of it for the betterment of our people, we get better outcomes. We can't continue to let outsiders experiment on us and allow ourselves to be the specimens. So Love's Art Project is that. And it's appreciation for art and using art as an integrative tool to further relationships, further community advancement, further healthy mindset and habits, and appreciation for the city of Baltimore and the art world globally, right? This started with just my dad understanding the importance of art and accessibility and exposure. Everyone doesn't have the dollar or two. Everyone doesn't even know where our renowned art galleries and museums are. So he knew that young people art is an expressive outlet, and the power of art is you can define it yourself, right? So a young person needs to learn how to define what they see, define it for themselves, take ownership of that, and interpret it for their own reasoning. So he brung it to the barbershops, and he started to notice that the young people was getting exposure, but the adults themselves, that was their first time seeing fine art or seeing art that was created by local grassroots artists and things that was just wanting the same platform. So he created a contemporary art space and a gallery space to give everyone that same equal platform. So now your art is right next to a world-renowned artist, and you might be a year removed from art school, or you might be a self-taught artist, but you get the same gallery space, you get the same amount of exposure, you get the same exhibition as this other artist who piece might go for $3 million, and you just selling yours for $15, hoping that you get your first sale that you can be proudful of. And that's the beautiful thing about Love's Art Project and just putting it back in the community. We blacks appreciate art. We are the creators of art. That's one thing you're not gonna be able to say that we ain't create, right? Is art, right? Everything that we do is art. And how do we find these artists? They find themselves. It's either through passing by, it's either through word of mouth, it's either through us being intentional and just traveling the world and traveling our cities and being open-minded to support people, and we offer them the opportunity. And people that want it bad don't pass up on opportunities, right? And it's been people that revisited that didn't see the value of it, but years later they come back, and we still have this open mind. I'm not going to judge you because you didn't see the value in it when I gave you this opportunity. Now you get it, right? We was just waiting for you to come back, and the thing is, it's a beautiful thing once it's created. Once that relationship is created, once that platform is shared. Plenty of artists have taken off since having an exhibition or a showcase or opening or a reception in the barbershop, the art gallery space, the partnerships with Love's Art Project and what it does towards building safe and healthier neighborhoods, right? It's larger than a barbershop. It's a safe haven. Right, so we try to reinstore that if it's one thing that has not been tainted in the black or brown community, it should be barbershops, right? The history of barbershops is pivotal to our survival as a people, right? How we pass information along, how we get to the political spaces, how we send hidden messages and things of that sort. Like, if you know the history of like barbershops and art through the antebellum, like slavery and the Reconstruction era, like we would have died off if we didn't have barbers and uh, cosmetology and personnel that's in this beauty industry. Like, they kept us alive. Like, our churches have become tainted, but not our barbershops, right? So we gotta value those, and we gotta know how to integrate it with art, and that's the beautiful thing that makes us unique. We integrate community with barbering, with art, and bringing it together. So when we do our Loves Art Project and getting on this 10th year, it's got bigger and bigger because the community appreciated first, right? Just a week ago or each year, we had millionaires. Baltimore has millionaires living in our city, a block removed from some of the most impoverished neighborhoods in the country, right? You make one right, you at $1 million house. You make another right, you're back in Section 8. And neither one knows they exist. But that's the unique culture of Baltimore. But that's the beautiful thing about the Loves Art Project and the block parties. Like, we have these millionaires, right? The family is a wealthy family, but you don't even know because they don't even want their names to be recognized and know that they're these power makers. And they're partying, listening to house music, eating the same free food that's chef made, that's made by a culinary artist, listening to the same music, interacting, smoking cigars, and just in their lounge chairs as millionaires, singing with walking past the next man that just got his fix, right? And they're all the same way. And me and my dad it ain't no big U's, no big I's. No, you're all the same person. And that's how the barbershop culture is. I don't care. You're gonna be a U.S. congressman. You're gonna sit down until you're next in the chair. You don't get to jump in because that doesn't build the trust in the community. No, you sit down as well, and that's what we do at the block party. Everyone gets the same opportunity. Those millionaires invested in the success and the camaraderie and the energy and the vibration of the block party just as much as we got the next person that might have been an addict or being cleaned up, right? They all have a part to play, and it's none of that I'm better than you type of thing. No one feels that way. Everyone feels received and welcomed, and that's what we get all the time. And the beauty of it is we show people it's probably one of the largest community celebrations, block parties in Baltimore every year. It's free to the public, no incidents, and everyone enjoys themselves. And we have intergenerational ages. You got young people there with great grandmothers there. You got millionaires there with somebody that got $0 in their pocket, and everyone leaves just as appreciated. Yeah, so Rashad Staton again, Baltimore Basics. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure and an honor to talk about Baltimore from my own vantage point. Now, this is my vantage point, right? So I'm speaking directly of my lived experience. So what I would always suggest or even recommend to people is to know your story, right? Know who you are first. Before you can speak on anything, know who you are, right? Know what makes you unique. Know what makes you stand out. Know what your strengths are. Know what your weaknesses are. That's you knowing your story. And know the narrative, right? What narrative you want to project the narrative that I'm projecting is something of optimism, something of beauty, something of creative expression, something of strength and power. I be damned somebody paint my canvas with red and darkness, right? Like, no, I come from that, but I rose from that as well. Like, I appreciate it, but you're not going to write my story as a victim, right? Or someone as oppressed. Like, no, I'm breaking that cycle. I'm breaking generational curses, and much of Baltimore is as well, right? But when we tell our story, we got to speak of that. We got to speak of something of optimism. We got to speak as assets. Man, we ain't got to keep playing it like we got less marbles in our pocket than somebody else. Like, I'm not even gonna let you count how many marbles I got in my pocket, because you might be just as empty. But if I walk around like I got 100 in there, you wouldn't even know if I had zero, right? And that's the fact of how I tell my story and how I protect my narrative, is to speak of something else that you know of. The Wire's gonna do its job to tell you this portrayal of what Baltimore is, but when you get in front of me, I'm gonna tell you the other side. I'm gonna highlight the hundreds and thousands of other people that I know that's doing the work. I'm gonna tell you what's unique and what's rich of us. I'm gonna admit the wrongdoing, but I'm not gonna just stay on that. Like, how boring is that? We gonna just get into a pity party, a struggle party? Like, where's the strength in that part? So mine is always know your story, protect your narrative, and the beautiful thing about Baltimore is, like, be more. Be exactly that. If we shorten it to that, be exactly that. Be more. I spell my be more different than everyone else. Like, I spell it BEMORE rather than the BMORE. Like, no, be more. Like, language is powerful. Be more than the status quo. Be more than what's normalized. Be more than what you want. Be more than good. Be great. Like, only people that's ever recognized are great people. Good people fall off. People that fell off ain't respected. Right? No, I got a legacy to pass on. Baltimore has a legacy and strength to pass on. If Baltimore gets it right, everyone else gets it right. So the rest of the world is waiting on us. Right? That's why we were so pivotal with our uprising. You saw how quickly we shifted and called it an uprising. We don't even call it a riot no more. Even outsiders can't come to Baltimore and call it a riot. We tear you to pieces. It's like, no, like, it wasn't what you thought it was. And no, about time. We're prideful of it. Like, no, we show some sense of resentment and opposition to what's unfair. We stop being okay with being treated unfair. Go after what's right. Inherit what you take ownership of.